Hello and welcome back to NA Turbo. So I'm going a bit old school today. No mic, no wireless mic and no gimbal. Mainly because it was just a spur of the moment video. I kind of thought I'd do a bit of a vlog, given I was out here with old Hannibal, washing him because yeah, my brother used him last week to go to work, and obviously salt on the roads and everything. It's a nightmare for an old Toyota, so I thought it'd be quite a good time to actually go round. Now I've washed him up a bit and just show you sort of some of the things I hope to change and sort of make better later on. So if we whiz around this side of the car. Now I always say Hannibal's a bit of what you call a 10-footer car because, you know, from this distance he looks all right. It's when you sort of get close up and sort of go in a bit more and look under the plastics, which is always a nightmare if anybody owns an old Toyota. Hannibal here and like the Mark 1 MR2 over there, the plastic seals and everything hold a nightmare of things a lot of the time you just don't want to know about. But we pretty much know this car and what it needs doing. So I'll sort of pan around here. So the first is the arches, I think I mentioned before. Now, I have treated these, or should I say bodged them, because the arches are holed through to the inner arch. But basically, so it was MOT ready and sort of looked presentable, I have bodged the arches in various ways. So as you can probably see from it standing out, there's a lot of dimples here and it's cracking through again. That's because literally there is no metal to any under there. So this arch is pretty much made up of filler and fiberglass. Literally just to sort of make it solid, and again sort of under there, and then literally what I did was sort of fill over it, treat it with a substance called POR that's a bit like a hard rust protective coating, and then sort of paint over it. Excuse me, sniffling. But yeah, so that sort of limps him along and has done for the last couple of years, but it's not the way, and I want to preserve this car. It's not the way to do it. It's just a matter of I didn't have the time or money to be able to do the work properly, or the panels. So, you know, Ryan's a fabricator, but even so, the sort of getting the panels to make the job easier than having to fabricate them all yourself is extremely hard on an old Jap car. And it's something to think about if you ever think about looking at one, or buying one, because you know, a lot of cars, British Leyland stuff, minis, things like that, you can get good remanufactured major panels for. Toyotas, nothing. So literally, for this car, I've had to source parts from the USA. These Mark 3 Supras were quite big in the USA as well. So from a US breakers in sort of a dry state, I've managed to sort of source an offcut which comes up to about sort of here. And what Ryan will hopefully do for me is we'll cut all this section out and he'll weld it in and then sort of seam weld it along here. Hopefully not distorting the panel a lot, because you can get distortion between the two metals when you weld onto it, but hopefully he'll be able to weld it in such that you won't really be able to tell. And the offcut of the panel I've got is immaculate, so there's none of this sort of rust in it. And if we pan round the back to the other side, you'll see the other side's exactly the same. So, excuse me, again, when you sort of look down into here, you can obviously see my filler standing out, and this is perhaps a good lesson for anybody. If you are looking at one of these old cars and it's cheap, there's a reason. So if you are looking at old cars, particularly old Jap cars, look for sort of, like you can see here, like I have, sort of the bubbling and indents. So that's clear that the arch has been filled, basically. So that's exactly what I did with this. I took it back, the metal had gone through in places, so I filled it and filled it from the back as well, and then sort of sprayed over it and rust protected it. It works, it holds the car on, but it's not ideal. So yeah, again, if you're ever looking at one of these, that's something to look at. So that's that arch as well. I can't show you because it's on the ground, but sort of under this section here is the car's sill, and for a previous MOT it had holed just slightly under here, so there's a patch just about there, welded on by the MOT station, which again, same as the other side, is not ideal. It was very much a slap-on patch to get it through the MOT. So when we come to doing the arches, we'll take that off and Ryan will weld in a seamless panel for me, so you won't be able to tell. These Toyotas, and any 90s Toyotas really, are a nightmare for rust. You can use them all year round. Ryan's used this week, but my key thing is, if you do, and cars are there to be meant to be used, is wash them straight away or as soon as you can. Even if it's not, this is not a pristine sort of showroom shine wash, it's a wash to get all the dirt and salt off it. So it sort of protects it. And then when you can in the summer, the idea is to then just underseal and wax it and coat it, you know, until the nth degree, so it protects it basically, which is what this will have done once we do these panels. So I've still got to source a panel for this side. The American Breakers has got one that's cut off sort of about to here, which I don't actually need, but he wants a lot of money for it. And you know, you can't find these panels. You can find the cars broken, but you can't find these panels in good condition in the UK. And just an example, the current price the guy wants, when you get that over here and shipping and import duties, it turns out it's about £500 for a panel that sort of comes here, goes up here and along there. So that's a heck of a lot of money for a panel. So I'm hoping that by the time I can get the cash to do it later on this year, he's still got the panel and has done for a while, so I'm hoping he'll be up to some negotiation to get it down a bit, because that's a lot of money for essentially a panel that's sort of a foot by a foot. But again, it makes it easier, and it is immaculate. So because the Mark III Supra over there was in a dry state, there's absolutely no rust on this section that he's cut out here. So it's definitely worth doing just to make it easy, because you're not having to try and fabricate around these sort of lips and arches. So yeah, that's sort of the outside. I'll sort of show you the boot. I can't show you fully down, but these also go quite badly in the inner wheel tubs. So I can't actually show you down, but in these little flaps under here is, maybe I can get you in, is it's quite dark, but in there is sort of the inner wheel tubs, and you can sort of see on this one it's holed through again, because it's a rust spot for them. They sweat on the inside and then just rust out. So the same's happened on the other side as well. So once we get the time to do it, and during the summer hopefully, this will all be coming out, the boot carpeting and everything, and then Ryan will weld back to me a panel there. So, you know, it's just to be mindful if you're looking at these, you know, sort of Jap cars and you think they are a great idea. They're a brilliant car, you know, and you can use them in all weathers, but you really have to be on top of it. And, you know, very much because I haven't had the time or the money to do much on Hannibal here, I've sort of limped him through every year with the bits of bodges I've done. But hopefully this year, or with a year, I can get him a bit more spotless and none of that horribleness on the rear arch. Again, plastics, you know, under these sections here, this is the metal sill. This is where they go. MR2s, if I just pan to this one here, they had a plastic sill liner, a plastic rocker cover that went over here, and it was sort of put into the body. And basically that on Mark 1 MO2s rots out underneath. You can't tell until you take it for an MOT one day and it falls off. So yeah, Jap cars, very good, but especially 90s cars, they do like rusting. So it's definitely something to bear in mind if you're looking one. I mean, sort of panning back round to this other side here, this was only treated and done about 6 months ago, but because there's still rust on the inside, it's going to keep coming through. So it's a case of you need to do it and do it properly. I've just sort of been bodging it to get it along. Excuse for my sniffling. But yeah, I'd say, you know, probably teaching you guys to suck eggs, but, you know, kind of thing. If you've got an older classic car and you want to use it, and don't be afraid to use them, that's what they're there for. But if you want to use a classic car, is, you know, take it out in this weather when they're salting, okay, but wash it straight away. And, you know, the main areas, as I said, I've had this open because I've washed under the sills under here. I've washed the inside of the doors and the sill, inner edges, but also, even though this one is covered in filler and fiberglass, I've got a sponge right in there and on the lips, and then right down into these panels here, and just clean them all out. So I'd say don't, you know, these cars are designed to be used. Don't ever fear for them. You know, and that's why Hannibal will never be a pristine prime show example, because I use it and I enjoy it, and I think that's what they should be for. There's also, you know, other YouTubers have done videos on such a thing. If you can, go onto YouTube and look for Hubnut on there, because he's done some quite interesting cars on there. But also, one of his quotes was sort of, you know, restoring a car's great, but keeping it restored is actually what's really hard work, because it's not the same as coming out of factory. So, you know, I'd say that's pretty much spot on. You know, we're doing this ourselves. Even if you pay somebody to restore it and they do a thorough professional job and do as much as they can to protect it, old cars are going to rust if you use it. So it's just something to be mindful for. But yeah, if you can, do check out Hubnut on YouTube, because his videos are really good. But essentially, I just wanted to update you because we haven't seen some of Hannibal for a while. But yeah, he's going strong now. So, like I say, I've washed him today, and he'll be sort of good till the next time I take him out. I try and not take him out on very salty, icy days, but sometimes you just need a bit of enjoyment. You'll notice as I fall over, Rado the Corrado's missing. That's because he was actually off the road, but my dad's 08 Astra decided, pretty much as it has done quite a lot, to break down recently. So old Rado's been put back into action, and he's using that until he can fix his car. So again, another motto, you know, 08 car versus a 94 car. The 94 cars are relatively more reliable. So, you know, just because you've got a newer car, it doesn't automatically mean it's going to be uber reliable. And yeah, I know 08's getting on a bit now, but, you know, compared to 94, it's not as old. So he'll be coming back soon, hopefully. And then in the next couple of months, I'll hopefully be taking it over to Martin the mechanic to do some work on his engine and box. But I just thought I'd do a quick vlog for now, and I've been prattling on for about 12 minutes, so I shall leave you. But yeah, hopefully you like the recent tinkering vids we did on Ryan's Hillman. We have got some coming on the 21, which is just sat behind there. As you see, sort of the 21's got some bits missing because Ryan's having them painted at the minute. But we've also got a change on the fuel pump to come, so do look out for that. Because again, that sort of stuff's quite interesting, but due to sort of parts that we thought were the right part and weren't, that video's had to be delayed a bit until we do get the right part, so that'll be coming in. But yeah, just a quick sort of vlog update, and thanks for watching. Do hit like and subscribe if you like what we're doing, and we'll see you again soon.